Hello, everyone, and welcome to the House of Positivity. This is a safe space for you to slow down, reset, and refill your cup. We will talk about real growth, shuffling mainly for light and positivity, and hopefully leave a little brighter than when we started. So take a deep breath and let's shine. All right, so we're just going to start here with seeing what the message is for today. And now mainly this is just for positivity, trying to help you on your this journey we call life. So first we have the Four of Swords, and it talks about rest, relaxation, meditation, contemplation. It even has form, completeness, and foundations. So this is it here, and we're going to keep going for the next one, but this is, we're already getting pretty strong, already off to a strong start, I should say. um, just because it looks like either you are resting before the journey ahead. Wow, this was already, that's interesting that that was already backwards like that. So we have the moon, which is illusion, mystery, dreams, and intuition, also fear and anxiety. Okay, so we already have an interesting message brewing here. Now, as I was saying with the rest, it could be that you're resting before something that's happening, or that you are in need of rest, that you are maybe going, you know, hard with work, school, just life in general, family or otherwise. So it could be that you are in need of rest and meditation and just a relaxing, peaceful way to go on about your day. So we will, all right, we got our final card here, and that is, we got our final card here, and that is alignment, personal values. It came out reversed, the Seven of Cups. And now, normally, this looks like um, it can be a negative thing when it comes out reversed. But in this case, I think it goes very well with the moon. So let's start off with what came out first, our Four of Swords. So as I mentioned before, this could be that you are in need of rest, relaxation, meditation, recuperating from you know from life itself. You could be working really hard. You could have, consecutive days working and not any days off. You could have, family life, marriage, relationship, kids, family members, friends. There's so much that could be adding up, and you are needing this rest, needing this sleep, needing to meditate and reflect and think about, maybe more efficient ways, or maybe it could feel like you have no time. So this could be a way to think about better time management, maybe, or just taking time for yourself, because that's important. You could be working and doing all these things for other people, but oftentimes when we do that, we forget about ourselves. So, this resting, meditating, contemplating, recuperation could all be in preparation to, or it could just be some much needed me time. And in order to you're taking that in order to be a better version of yourself, which benefits everyone around you. So it's important to take, and a lot of us unfortunately forget to do so. So remember to take time for you to rest, um, and you're important. I know you may be taking care of others around you, but don't forget about yourself, because you are important, and your health, your happiness matters. So don't forget that. Okay, and now with the moon, ah, this goes very well with it. It says number 18, which reduces to 9. It's about completion and selflessness. So we just talked about that with the need for rest. It's about you're taking care of others. You are doing a lot of things and being very selfless. And so you have to take some time at least to be selfish. And selfishness is not always a negative thing. Sometimes it could be seemingly selfish, but you're making time for yourself. And again, your happiness, your rest, uh, your you matter, and don't forget that. So here we have illusion, mystery, dreams. So moon, which is often associated with sleeping or looking up at the stars and dreaming. So that's what it is. It could also be fear or anxiety of what's to come if you're looking forward. So it could be that you are in need of rest, but you're afraid to because you could be the one that's, you're putting in. This happens a lot with parents. You could be doing so much that you're afraid if you stop, things will fall apart. So there's that fear, that anxiety of um, not being able, that if you do take a day off, things will fall apart and they won't be the same. Or there's this subconscious, and even if you aren't consciously thinking of it, subconsciously you could be thinking that, and that could be preventing you from getting that rest. So maybe you are sleeping, but your sleep isn't restful because subconsciously you're worried about the next, or you're worried about not being able to take time off, or just worried in general. So that's something to keep in mind, is that you you can run yourself ragged doing that. So keep in mind about the retreat, solitude, even, and it doesn't solitude doesn't mean everyone get away from me. I want to be alone. It could just be taking time, again, taking time to yourself. Maybe it's a spa day. Maybe it's just a massage. Maybe it's just 5 quiet minutes in a room by yourself meditating, or it could be just as simple as watching a show that you like or doing something that you enjoy doing, no matter what it is. Anything from, going on a run, cooking your favorite meal. I mean, something as simple as rock climbing. Um, just whatever, something that it could be something that you haven't done in a while either, but something that you enjoy doing. So, no matter what it is, remember to take that time, because rest doesn't always mean sleep. It could just be a break from the day to day. So keep that in mind. And now with our Seven of Cups, they came out reversed. We have personal values overwhelmed by choices and lack of purpose. So I'm glad this came out the way it did. It fits in very well with the others. Um, we see illusion and confusion again, which goes along with this anxiety and fear. So overwhelmed by choices. It kind of goes back in. It goes back to rest. So you are the one holding everything together. You are hardworking. You are selfless. You are putting others before you and working yourself to the bone. Um, and so what this is saying is you could be overwhelmed. Lack of purpose. That could just mean you're caught in the day to day, and the day to day, as we know, can get monotonous. It's go to work, go home, or it's go to school, or it's go to work, go to school, family. There's so many different ways it can be, but mostly it's just the monotony of the day to day, and so that can be a lack of purpose because you just do the same things over and over, which is why rest is important. Doing something that you enjoy doing, um, and just taking time to do that, no matter what it is, no matter how big or how small that task or activity is, taking time to do it is important. Overwhelmed by choices. It could be you are always the go-to for choices, for decision making. You could be the one that is in charge of that, where people rely on you to make these decisions daily, and so that can be overwhelming, and that can cause this subconscious fear, this anxiety of I don't want to make decisions anymore. I just want to rest. I want to take some time, and I just want to be. You know, um, So this is really powerful. I know again, rest can be anything. It doesn't have to mean sleep. This person here is, as you can tell, they're laying down, they're resting. That doesn't mean they're sleeping. They could just be taking a quiet moment to reflect, to maybe plan um, differently, because it's really easy to get caught up in the day to day. You're busy, you're flowing and trying to, plan ahead, plan this, plan that. And it's, that's how life works. Sometimes you have to be spontaneously planning or in the moment, just caught up and moving on that way. Um, so sometimes just taking, like I said, a few minutes, whatever time you have to rest, to meditate, if you're into meditation, if it's something you practice, um, or just, taking some moments to do something you like. Again, it's really important, and it really goes a long way in recuperating and rejuvenating you to continue on. So I think that's our message for today. Again, I like to keep these pretty short for you. Just a quick message to figure out what we could focus on, and if this resonated with you, great. If not, that's okay too. Maybe the next one will, or maybe someone that this will resonate with. So I like to end this off with a journal prompt. Now I know we've talked about it before, but I am a big advocate for journaling just because it not only does it help you reflect on maybe the day's events or, interactions, whatever it was. For me personally, I started it from interactions because I had a really bad social anxiety. So I would interact with people, I didn't know what to say. So a lot of times what I wouldn't say in the moment, I wouldn't say what I wanted to, or I wouldn't be happy with what I said in the moment. And so it would bug me, for days, for weeks, for months, for years. So what I started doing was just journaling that. So I had this interaction today. I said this when I should have said that. And it wasn't anything, it wasn't like I said anything hurtful or negative. It was just something as simple as just being awkward and maybe not responding or taking too long to respond or saying something and then thinking like, why in the world did that jump out of my mouth? I didn't expect that. Um, and so, since it would keep me up at night anyway, I just started writing it out. This is what happened. This is what the person said. This is what I said. And then this is what I'd like to say next time. And what that did was that prepped me. So the next time that situation came up and somebody, um, said that one thing, if I encountered that same conversation again, I was better prepared. And it helped me in that way because I'm a preparer, so I like to. I've adjusted now, but it helps me to be better prepared for things. And you can't be prepared for all social situations. There's always going to be something new because people are different. But what that did was it helped me get that practice and feel more comfortable and confident going forward. So that's what got me into journaling. It was just these thoughts kept me up at night. I couldn't rest. I couldn't get that rest I needed. So I found it helpful for me to write my thoughts out. And by getting that out, because I didn't have anyone I trusted to tell, I didn't have anyone I trusted to tell these feelings to for out of fear of being judged, this fear, this anxiety of people judging me. So but once I wrote them out, I found like a burden was lifted, and then I could sleep better. Then I could rest, and then I was more confident. I didn't have this same fear going forward, because that's what I found is that if I encountered those same situations again, then that fear would just automatically come up, and I would panic, and then it would be even worse. So that's what got me into journaling, and then it just became, more of a. I don't do it every day. Not anymore, at least. I started off doing it every day just because so many things happened. But now it's more of a voice journal. So I might just you know go to my notes app and dictate some things in there and say this happened today or that. But it's more of just getting things off. But I feel more comfortable with telling people about my day and how I felt about it. So I find I use my friends more in that regard, since a lot of times you can feel like you're burdening them, which I did. I felt like I was burdening them, and they don't want to hear about my problems. They have problems of their own, but I was doing them a disservice by not trusting them. So now I have more faith and trust in my friends, and as a result, it's made me a better friend. My friendships have been stronger, and um, yeah, so that's sorry, I went on a tangent there about journaling, but that's what got me into it. So if it's something you like to do, great. If not, give it a shot. You know, just write some things out, maybe voice them if you're not huge on writing, or if you don't want to, if journaling isn't for you, that's okay. That's okay. This is just a something to get us thinking about something maybe we haven't thought about in a while, or just getting us to self reflect about things we want or things we need. So today's prompt is going to be about relationships, whether you're in one, got out of one, or you want one. We'll see. We'll see which way it goes. But this is self prompts about relationships, and we'll just see what jumps out. If nothing jumps out, then I just when I feel called to, I will pull. But we have something that jumped out, so let's take a look and see what our prompt is. So, do your current friendships serve the phase of life you're in? Wow. Wow, this one's really strong. Um, do your current friendships serve the phase of life you're in? So a lot of us will hold on to friendships because we've known them for a while. You may have said that, or you may hear people say that. I've known them forever. They may not be a good fit for your life now. Sometimes you outgrow people, or sometimes people are only in your life for a short time. It's not it's not easy to think of it that way, but that's just how things are. That's how life can work. I've had to I've definitely had to let some friendships go, especially as I started to self-reflect and realize uh, and think about, who's here for me the way I'm here for them. You know, this is not a one-way street. Um, this should be, you know, give and receive. It shouldn't just be them, me giving, 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 me giving my time, me giving my emotional support. But when I need them for it, they're nowhere to be found. I did have friends like that. And I held on to them because of that same thing. I've known them forever, or I didn't want to be mean. They're busy. Maybe they don't have time to think about to hear my problems or anything. But which is true. There are times, especially as people get older and develop your own lives, you don't talk to your friends as often, which is a natural part of life. But it was a matter of, for me at least, it was a matter of I'm always reaching out to them. They only reach out to me when they have an issue and they need to vent about it, and then they vent and then they move on. When I reach out and I need to vent, they're busy, or they don't pay attention. You know, it could just be you've changed. We've changed. We go through several phases in our life. We grow. We um, adapt. We figure out who we are as people. And this could be somebody from, I don't want to say your old life, but it could be someone before you changed. Maybe you shared common interests, but you don't have that interest anymore. Or maybe this person was from college and you're not the same person in college as you are now. I know I mean, I'm well past college age, but um, there are friends I had in that during that time that as we got older, we just naturally grew apart. We just wanted different things out of life, and that's okay. That's okay. So this is just a journal of or a journal prompt or a thought to get you to ask that question to yourself. Are your current friendships, do they serve the phase of life you're in? Are they there for you the way you want or need them to be? Um, and that's a valid question. It's a tough question. It's a very very tough question, because relationships are great. It hurts losing a significant other. It really really hurts losing a friend. So this is a question we don't often ask ourselves because we are afraid of losing that friend. But it's important because if that friend isn't serving your life, they're not making your life better or, helping you through, then maybe it's time to let them go. And that's healthy. That's okay. It's not a negative thing. It can be tough to go through, um, but in the long run, it will serve you better. So thanks for stopping by. This has been the House of Positivity. If today's message resonated with you, lifted you up, um, feel free to share it with someone else. Maybe they can use a little bit of light too. Now, remember, your energy matters and your story is still unfolding. So, until next time, don't let anyone take your shine away.